Welcome to Inside the Chamber. I'm Nikki Anderson, the President and CEO of the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce. Today's show will focus on the importance of expertise when shopping for a service or product.
Inside the Chamber is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Naperville Bank and Trust.
There's nothing more reassuring than doing business with an organization that knows their product and service inside and out, and hires staff that knows it as well. Today we'll be meeting with businesses that know the importance of expertise. Thanks so much for joining me today. Let's just get right into the conversation. I know all of you by the expertise that you all have with your businesses and organizations. So as we look to competition, and we know it's both brick and mortar as well as online, what do you feel is the importance of expertise? What do you think that brings to your customer that maybe they don't know?
For us, I think, because almost all the products that we carry are available online, it's going to be our long-term viability is having knowledge and experience and the ability to interact with our customer in a way that they're never going to get online, or a robot can't do, that type of thing. So we focus very much on training, education, knowing our products, but also knowing how to interact with people properly.
Right. And I think it's that not only the expertise, but how it's delivered, which I know is important to you and your team.
Yeah, absolutely. One of our main reasons of being in business is we want our communities to look at us as a trusted community resource so that they can come in and ask us really anything. And, hopefully we know the vast majority of it. And if we don't, we're going to work with that customer to figure out what the best solution is and get them the answers that they absolutely need. Our team is going to absolutely take the time necessary to make sure that the customers are having those great experiences. And like Kris said, you can find everything online. I mean, that's not a secret.
Right.
But I think more and more customers are coming back to that feeling of wanting an actual experience in the store and not just reading a blurb on a blog or on Facebook about, a couple key factors about a product.
Right, absolutely. And Dan, you can't go online to have someone come in and clean your home or business. So tell us a little bit about your unique approach to service.
So they can go online and actually book an appointment online. Okay. However, it is all about customer service for us. We like to say that we are a customer service company. We just happen to clean homes for a living. Yeah. Because we're a little unique and where customers are going into your places of business, but we're actually going into their homes. And so, it's important that they trust us and that we're more of a friend of theirs versus, a business acquaintance.
So when we look at your team, everybody's team or staff, tell me a little bit about the training process and why that's so important. And I know you guys, you have a wonderful program.
Yeah, we take training very seriously. Our team members go through a minimum of 50 to 60 hours worth of training before they're even allowed to interact with a customer. Our philosophy is that we don't practice on customers. When our customers have interactions with our team, we want them to get the level of experience that they expect, no matter who they're talking to, which team member they're talking to, whether they've been there 6 days or 6 years, for example. So we do a really great initial training, but I think something that's important for all of us is to have ongoing training as well. So we do have a process in place too. So, it keeps everyone fresh, up to date on all the new stuff, all the new products that are coming in, and also what customers are reading about online. Right. We have to be up to date on that too.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. What about your team?
Yeah, we do the same stuff as Two Bostons, which we do a lot of things similar. We share ideas and thoughts, but our staff, we don't even really want them to we don't want them to answer the phone, literally, until they've been there for a certain amount of time, and our amount of hours are fairly similar. And then we have a lot of training hours before they can help a customer. We essentially do a shadowing period, an assisting period, and then a being watched period in their training, and it's generally about an 80-hour total. And then we have continual ongoing training. We have mandatory monthly meetings. We have manufacturers that come in and work with our team. We have an employee who's in charge of all the training. And then we have ongoing, there's a resource in our industry where you can go online to certain brands and do little trainings and then tests, and then they get an extra discount. So it's coming at them all the time. And when we get new products, we use Slack, and we have about 5 different channels on Slack, and anything from product knowledge to customer knowledge to random thing, just anything like that. So they always have some sort of interaction, and it is pretty much nonstop.
Right.
I mean, they can go we get so many new shoes, we even have little tags that give the 3 key things for each shoe in our back room, because again, your brain can only take in so much, and it's coming at them all the time.
Yeah. Well, I think that is obviously the thing that people note, is that when you go in, everybody knows what they're talking about. Because to your point, sometimes they might not know, and it's fine to say, but let me get that information for you, versus just shrugging their shoulder and going, I don't know. Right? Let's talk about your training, because obviously your team is going into people's homes. That's a big deal. You really need to make sure you have tried and true and trusted employees, right?
There's no question about that. I mean, it starts in the hiring process, right, before you even get to training. Every one of our employees is licensed, bonded, insured, background checked for a minimum of 7 years, and obviously have that customer focus, right? So during the interview process, we do a different assessment testing to get to that stage, and we literally interview hundreds of people before we have 2 maids and a mop employee. So ongoing training is the key, as both of you have mentioned. We start off the first day or 2 where they're learning about the products, the equipment, the towels that we use, why we use certain colored towels for certain rooms only. And then their first day in a home, they're still not cleaning. They're shadowing someone else, making sure they understand the whole 2 maids training process and concept to clean a home thoroughly. Then every morning we meet as a team meeting. We review customer comments from the night before, and we'll have some other piece of training or new tip or idea. So it's ongoing, and it's very thorough.
That's wonderful. So you just brought up a great point that I'd love to talk about, and that is online reviews. When it comes to great customer service and what you do. Do you think that that's a help or a hindrance? Because obviously we know that there are some people that there's always one, but we also know the value of those great comments, because I believe that if I'm reading 30 comments and there's 2 maybe not so good, I'm probably going to rely on the ones that are stronger, just from a percentage basis. But do you think that the online reviews is a help or a hindrance?
That's a good question. I mean, of course, we all like to hear great things about our stores, our team, our service. But what we can really learn a lot from are those not so positive reviews. Yeah. So the best thing is if someone leaves a review that isn't, a 5-star review, if they actually give us information to do something about. Because if someone goes on and just gives a 1, 2, or 3-star review and doesn't say anything, we can't learn anything from that.
Right.
We don't know if that's even a real person.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And, that's a real thing.
Right.
Or what. And, the best thing to do is if they do leave a review that isn't so positive, to be able to respond.
Right.
If they give a little bit of information, you can actually look up the transaction and see, okay, now I can work with the person who helped them at the register, sit down, talk with them, see what happened, and figure it out. And, maybe that person does need some extra training. So that's definitely happened before.
Yeah.
And I appreciate those comments in that point, because then we can learn something about it and make our businesses stronger.
Constructive comments.
Correct.
Versus just random.
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, we've had, we're proud of our ratings, and, you want to try and have a 5-star. You can't satisfy everybody. It's a little frustrating when somebody says you're awesome and they give you a 3-star and they're grading on the curve or something. Because
nobody's perfect.
Right, exactly. That does happen, and you want to like, hey, thanks for that great review. Any chance? What do we need to do to bring it up to? We'll ask. If somebody doesn't leave a great review, we'll ask. We communicate, and you really do have to watch. You have to be vigilant, and when something pops up, we will always address it. I mean, we thank our reviewers. It's getting to be there's so many now. I think Google just started a new thing where they're like rewarding people for doing reviews, so we're getting them kind of more nonstop. But we make sure that we definitely address any issues that come up. And it is frustrating when somebody can go on there and have a platform when they really shouldn't. They just don't necessarily use good judgment, or they don't understand the situation, or they didn't allow us to make it right. They didn't say anything to us. So
that's probably the most frustrating thing, is that if someone would have come to you based on your history and your commitment to service, it would have been taken care of.
Absolutely.
And to your point, that doesn't really give you a chance. How about you, Dan? Do you like?
Oh, we love it, and we're the only cleaning company who has a pay-for-performance program. So whether it's online or just I get emails every night, after the cleaning, we ask each customer to provide us feedback on a rating of 1 to 10 of the performance, and if they weren't a 10, to give us specific feedback on how we can make it a 10 next time. And it's interesting because a lot of those customers will just give us the 5-star rating, like on Google this morning. I didn't get any feedback on an email, but we got a 5-star Google.
Okay.
So we don't care how we get it, we just want the feedback because it makes us all better.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the team behind your vision and your commitment to a great organization. How do you guys go about finding? There's so many ways, we have, Indeed and 8 million different avenues. Do you find that you get the best people via referrals, via your employees that are already there referring people, or is there a secret to how you find your great people that work for you guys?
The secret is getting enough applications in that you can pick and choose.
Okay.
Who you bring in for an interview. You can find people to apply a bunch of different ways. I think businesses need to make sure that they're keeping track of where they're getting the best team members. So we have found that through our newsletters and Facebook, because those people already know us and know what we might expect as being a part of our team. Okay. But you really have to go through all the good interview steps. Yeah. One thing that changed in our business in our specific business at Two Bostons over the last couple of years is we do an interview strictly for core value fit now. So that's the interview that I do. Yeah. So before we, provide an offer, do they fit our core values?
Right.
Are they going to be able to share their knowledge, create fun experiences, those main things that we expect from our team members?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if there's not that fit with the most important piece of your business, ultimately it's not going to work out.
Right, exactly.
And I think too, we've all had that great interview, but we're going to talk about that when we come back. We'll be right back.
Naperville Bank and Trust has the expertise, knowledge, and experience to help you reach your business goals.
We would prefer to work with somebody like Naperville Bank and Trust. They're engaged in the community, they're able to help meet our financial needs, they understand us as a business.
They provide all the tools that you would ask that we as a growing business need of a bank. Most importantly, to me, it's a great personal relationship we have with Tom and John and our bankers.
It was the best thing we could have done in banking. Banking can be very cold. What the bank brings to us is that warm feeling when you come into the bank and people say, "Hi, Greg."
It's about being part of the community again, about being a name again, about having credit for who your business is instead of just being a number.
Naperville Bank and Trust. Bring it home.
we're talking about the importance of hiring right and getting the right people. And you all have rigorous training programs. Well, the interview process is just as important. Have you had that interview that seemed like a great one and ultimately did not turn out to be so great? And how do you handle that, right? Because culture and having the right people in place is really important. So.
Yeah, we definitely have had that. We've had that a couple of times, and in our business, it sort of ends up sorting itself out. I mean, we try to learn from it, like what did we miss here? Yeah. But sometimes it was probably, we haven't had that in a little while, so I think it was maybe when we weren't quite as good at doing it. I'm not saying we're perfect now, but I think some of that comes with experience and the questions you ask and what you dive into. But the things that help us now with that is when we do our interviewing, we usually have 2 manager level employees or higher interview each person in sets of 2. So they go through 3 or 4 rounds of interviewing, and things can kind of pop out that way, and then we spend more time. It used to be like myself and one other person interviewing, so I think some of the process that you use can help filter through that. It's still not going to be perfect, but and then when it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out culturally in our business, for our just the fit with everybody, and then it generally kind of works itself through.
And I think that's a really good sign when your other team members or your other staff members come to you and say, I think there might be a problem, because then you have created this really clear culture, and when they notice that something's off, for them to come and say something, I think is important. Right. Have you ever had the great interview, bad outcome?
Well, of course. I think we all have. I think one of the key learnings for us is to really find somebody who wants to do the job versus somebody who needs a job. Because the want to do the job will have the open conversation, much like we're having here, whereas the need to job will tell you just about anything that you want to hear.
Right.
And so we really focus on now about what the true expectations of the job is, and what a family environment we are, and that it's about having fun, and it's about customer service, and it's about keeping the customer happy. It's not necessarily about the way we clean, right? We know we clean in a certain pattern, and that's going to happen, but it's, will they really enjoy the job? Will they enjoy sweating while they're working? Do they enjoy being there first thing in the morning and maybe staying late? Our pets, are they pet friendly, right? So it's really about finding what they want to do and finding a career that works for them.
That's great, want versus need, because there is a difference in how people will apply. How about for you, AdreAnne?
Absolutely. I think that the whole idea of having your team be able to help figure out if you made a good choice or not is really key, because if you have such strong core values in your team, and if I have made the wrong decision by inviting someone to join us, that new person actually does feel uncomfortable, because they don't have those same standards. So that has been really kind of cool to see, that the team upholds those standards, whether or not Andy and I are there on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's great. So with that, when we talk about expertise and how important it is, and we talk about your training and what you all do to make sure you have the right people in place to carry on a business that is your future, and the future too of your employees and the community. Let's talk about getting what you pay for. I believe that people are starting to understand that, the online versus face-to-face. Do you think that people understand that you get what you pay for when you go in to Boston's or Naperville Running Company or hire to Maids and Mop? Do you have to share that? Do you have to explain your pricing? Do you think people know it, that when they're coming to you, they expect the best because that's what you have set forth? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I think if somebody's never been to our store, we will actually talk a little bit about pricing, because the running shoe business, the shoes are actually pretty expensive, right? And you can find similar looking product for much less. And sometimes you can find the old model of a shoe for less. So we'll actually explain even the tiers that we have in the store. We kind of, There's kind of a lower end that's the $60 to $80 shoes that are fine to wear around, and we don't carry those. And then there's the $90 to $120, and those are going to work great. We carry those, and then above $120, they're going to work great. They're probably going to last a little longer and be a little more. So somebody understands. Like when they leave the store, if they spend $160 on a shoe, and we didn't talk to them about that, and they've never been at the store, they may be like, did they just sell me the most expensive shoe because that was their plan? And we absolutely do not. Like, if they come in and they don't need new shoes and they bring their old shoes, we'll tell them, we don't need, you don't need new shoes. But I feel like it's important for people to understand that aspect of it, so they know we bring out mid-end, high-end, we don't carry the low-end. So I think that part's important. And then for us, it's important that when somebody buys a shoe from us, that our prices are actually in range with what's online. If there's some old model of something we have that's $40 less in one odd size somewhere online, we don't really deal with that. But all of our prices, generally speaking, are right there, within a few dollars either way. And actually, a lot of times our average pricing is better than what you can get online, which a lot of people are surprised. But we do have a lot of we do some nice rewards programs and stuff for people. So it's very important, because I just don't want people to leave and feel like they got ripped off, especially in today's world. So I think it's a very real thing, and we watch online as shoes get near the end of life, and the new shoes coming. We're making sure that if it's changing out there, that we're responding in an appropriate manner, because I think it's important. The trust factor is very important there.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that once a customer actually tries, whether it's a new food that might be a higher price point than what they're normally able to get at the grocery store, or a toy that's made in the USA and has a guarantee on it, they're going to be spending a little bit more for that. But that is an exact situation where you get what you pay for. They'll try one bag of food and all of a sudden their dogs don't smell like Frito chips, or they stop chewing on their paws, they have less ear infections. Well, that's great. Not only is the dog healthier, but you're not giving them all of the medications that they've probably been prescribed to take care of all those issues as well. The best example of you get what you pay for, bully sticks. Bully sticks are our #1 product in the store. It's a great chew. You can find them for a lot cheaper, but they're going to smell horrible. The dogs are going to love them, but your living room is going to smell like not so great. So when people come in and see our prices, which are very fair, and they make a comment, that's an exact. I'm not going to have anything in our store that's substandard. Our guarantee is we don't give anything to our dogs, we don't have anything in our store that we won't give our own dogs and cats at home. Like, that's a guarantee at Two Bostons. And to Kris's point too, if our customers are loyal to us, we're certainly going to be taking care of them through different loyalty points, free food faster, where you buy 10 get 1 free on bags of food, that kind of stuff. So it's definitely worth being loyal to a store that can really take care of you.
Right. What about you?
Yeah, and I think we see the same thing. You're always going to have the customers who are the price shoppers, right? And then you're going to have the other customers who are looking for a specific value and what you can bring to the table. So we offer different maintenance programs, and we also have the flexibility where we can service their homes, by the hour, or we can customize a package based on what they want clean. So it's really just, again, going back to customer service. What are they looking for? We always say, make sure we're tuned into their radio station, which is WIIFM. What's in it for me? And provide that, right? Because that's the experience they're looking for.
That's great. So. I know what I'm looking for when I shop, and obviously I've experienced your businesses. So have you ever gone out to, I don't want to say shop the competition, but have you ever been out at a store and had that moment where you go, and this is what makes our business so great because I'm not experiencing that? Have you had that kind of aha moment?
Yeah, we actually, it's funny because when you're in the shoe business, you look at people's shoes all the time, and if you're in the running business, you visit running stores when you travel. And one of my favorite things is when our employees travel and they go visit a running store, because they come back and there are times when you're like, oh yeah, the store was awesome, but so often they come back and go, now I know why we keep our back room so neat. Now I know why we do this. And they didn't even put the shoes on their feet, and things that they just are normal.
Right.
it's a really good, I mean, we have 80 pages of manual, and part of our training is for them, they have to go through all this, and we want them to understand why we do the things that we do, not just tell them what to do. I think that's a really important part of training, and that's why there's a lot involved in it. But yeah, we do it all the time. And then we also go to stores that we know are really strong, that we share information with and ideas and thoughts, and we'll visit those stores and look for ideas, and they'll ask us for ideas too. So
Great.
Yeah, it's great to have your team go out to even stores in downtown Naperville, for example, and give them a list of things to look for. And so they'll come back and they'll say, oh, right, so this store did this, and that was really cool. Or they didn't even come out from behind the counter to greet me. And then they all of a sudden realize that's why we harp on that so much.
Right. It's such a deal breaker for me, that customer service. And I think that there's kind of there's going to be this renaissance of people that want that experience, that want that face-to-face.
Absolutely.
And that matters far more than just going on at 10 o'clock at night, not even knowing what you're buying or what you're getting. How about you, Dan?
Well, we certainly don't have that same opportunity, but I started 2 Maids and a Mop because we had cleaners in the past and we had different experiences and our friends who had experiences, and we learn every day from our customers about what they didn't like before and what they love about us, and so that just reinforcement every day continues to help us build and grow and provide that solution for the customer.
Right. As we wrap up today, I'd love for you to share maybe your thoughts on why knowing your business inside and out, having a team that knows that, is important to you and to your business.
Well, from an owner's perspective, knowing that you have a great staff that can make decisions and understands why we do the things we do, it makes owning a business much more enjoyable. I mean, it's still stressful, you never stop thinking about it, but if I go away to a vendor meeting for a week, I'm not calling the store and checking, although a lot of the people that I'm with, those are, off making calls and everything. And, so I think being blessed to have a great staff, and we put a lot of effort into it, and it's literally my number one concern. I let those guys take care of our customers, because as long as they're taken care of, I feel like it's all going to work out. But otherwise, there's no way I would enjoy it to the level that I do.
Great.
Yeah, one of our core values is ownership thinking, and the team loves it when customers say to them, oh, so are you the owner?
Yeah.
Because
awesome.
that means that they're exhibiting all of those things. They want to make sure that they're doing everything, from A to Z to make sure that that customer's experience is just top notch. And so I love to hear that, and it's a big kick for our team to hear that too.
That's wonderful. Dan?
Yeah, I would just say that, a product is a product, or a service is a service, but a brand is a promise. And that's that we instill, right? And our brand and what we do and what we represent is what's most critical. And I share the same piece. My number one concern is that the employees are happy and having fun and understand our brand promise, and they just go out and do it and deliver.
Fantastic. Well, I can't thank you all enough for being here today. I think it was a great conversation and very insightful. Thank you for joining us for Inside the Chamber. We hope that you found the information in today's program valuable. Please join us again for our monthly programs, and in the meantime, when you're looking to shop or dine or for a service, think the Chamber. You can visit naperville.net to support the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce and our business community.